Okay, then let's continue. First, you have done these calculations of this volume in the lab. Yes. Yes. Using this table. Yes. So they use the density for random. Yes, but you should do a calculation how many volume. Okay, then you are doing this as a whole. Then you are having this index 3. So you have this table. So everybody has this table. Yes, you can also download it from me, yeah? Because the whole screen is on me, yeah? Or the PowerPoint, yeah? So and there you are using this table, and here you have the size in millions of tons, and here you have the percentage of copper inside. So, and actually the exercise was, you should calculate how many volume this is, yeah? How many volume. This series you have here in millions of tons, yeah? And you have the percentage, and you have the percentage, thanks, you have the percentage of copper and molybdenite inside. So and if I like to have the volume, then you have to simple it, because when we are calculating the volume from the mass, we need the density. So when the density is rho, that is the density mass divided by the volume. So and then you can just write it down like this, mass divided by rho. So and now the thing is, in this table there is no density given. So and therefore you have to choose a density, yeah? So and then you have to check, or you have to think, with which rocks copper ore deposits are associated. Then you are just choosing the density, for example, for the continental crust, yeah? So and there you can just choose the density, I don't know, 2.8, 2.9, something like this. We are continuing today with this slide here. I'm going now for the copper class at first through all the slides, and then we are rounding this up. This is the written summary. The written summary is also it is called chapter 2 or something like this, yeah? So and here we have the situation as it looks like here, for example, for written level, yeah? We have here a copper ore deposit beneath the oceanic crust. You can see it here, we have the sea level. Then we need a scale, we have here 1 kilometers. So then we have our copper ore deposit in a depth of 3 to 4 kilometers, yeah? And that's quite hot in there. So here once more is such a plane, and here these black spots, these are the copper ore deposits, yeah? That is our ore, yeah? So now we are checking again what type of rocks we have here. I mean, here we have the vent or the pipe. So, and if we are sitting here beneath the oceanic crust, then we have at the top probably basalts and gabbros. And here below we have some quartz monzonites, granodiorites, quartz diorites, and of course here the surrounding area, these are volcanic rocks, yeah? So, and then one have to think about where these acid rocks are coming from, yeah? Because normally they are not sitting here in the oceanic crust, but if you are checking here in VTF, you saw also on our excursion ES301, you saw these tonalites. So, and these tonalites are fractionation products from these gabbros. But it could be also another melt which has intruded there, and therefore one have to figure out where is the source from this melt. There are different methods, but these methods I'm teaching you in ES303. Yeah? So in the ES303 practica, you have made this spider diagram, is it? Yeah. So and these are actually the methods. Yeah. So you are measuring all these elements. So and then you can plot the ratio, you have normalized it on the mantle, yeah? And then you can see if you are getting, for example, for this granodiorite, quartz diorite and quartz monzonite, the same pattern as, for example, for the basalts, yeah? If they have the same parental magma, then you should get it, yeah? If the parental magma is not the same, then your spider diagram looks different, yeah? So that is just a cross section through level plane, through the A-level plane, that is just from here to here, and then you can see these small spots, and these small spots, this is your ore, and this ore is surrounded by quartz diorites. So, but here we have then again, we have here our more detailed map. So, and then we have here our pyrite zone, because with our copper ore deposits, yes, we have always, always the association with pyrite. Yeah? Yep. So, here we have also a very nice sketch map, because as I told you before in our chapter number 1, which is also uploaded on Moodle, we have their different stages, and if you are checking our first manuscript, there is this very nice table with all these different stages from early magmatic over post-magmatic up to the hydrothermal system. Then you will observe, or maybe you know it by now, that copper is a mineral which becomes enriched normally in the hydrothermal stage. So here, for example, we have the post-magmatic stage. If we are talking about the post-magmatic stage, then we are still talking about very high temperatures. Here in this post-magmatic stage, fractionation took place from our melt, and our melt becomes enriched in fluid. Yeah, you know this game by now. We have at first a melt, and later on this melt becomes then enriched in fluid, and this fluid is then a mixture between water and CO2, and then you can enrich certain element. So here we have the hydrothermal stage, and in the hydrothermal stage we are forming now here our ore zone. Yeah? So and there we have still magmatic fluid, and the magmatic fluid, of course, that comes from our granite. That is here. The granite is below, then we have here the influence of magmatic fluid, and this magmatic fluid becomes then here mixed up with the groundwater that is written here. So and here we are talking now about different zones. We have the potassic zone, we have the phylitic zone, the porphyritic zone, and the argillitic zone. So and these zones are distributed around our ore. So and these zones are formed at different temperatures during the hydrothermal stages. Then we have here a late hydrothermal stage, that is maybe a mesothermal stage, early hydrothermal stage. These are stages, catathermal stages, maybe ranging between 400 and 500 degrees Celsius. Then we have the catathermal stages, the mesothermal stages. We have still the influence of magmatic fluid becomes mixed up with your groundwater, and then it shoots out. So and here we have then a very late stage, and this is now actually the situation how it is maybe on Banua level, yeah? Because there we have then the thermal springs. Yeah? Yes. There we have then the thermal springs. That means the groundwater becomes heated up here. We have here still our copper molybdenum zone, our ore. The water becomes heated up, and then you have the thermal springs at the top. So in these thermal springs, they are not only very useful for geothermal power, they are also very useful to identify ore deposits. Yeah? Because you can measure also the copper or the gold or molybdenum or whatever you want in your water, and then you should also measure your sodium and potassium and everything, as I told you in the introduction a few weeks ago, and then you can figure out, you can calculate this, or not you, but at least I can do this. What type of rocks are there in your ore zone, or if there is a ore zone, and you can also calculate what type of ore deposit there is, yeah? And you can even calculate how huge or what's the volume of this body, yeah? So, but there we will then talk a little bit more about the field trip, and we will do also some calculations about this, so I will do it and you can watch it. So here we have another nice picture telling us about something about the fluid. So because the fluid is very important, I told you this also thousands of times, in the formation of ore deposits or in anything. Here we have the dominant alteration types. We have potassic, phylic, and porphyritic. And here we have such a model. We have here again our granitic body here sitting. And we have two alteration models, that is then post-magmatic. And here we have just a convection model, where in a later hydrothermal stage, where our fluid becomes here heated up. So of course on this side, at first, our fluid source is magmatic, up to, and the magmatic component is up to 95%, yeah? Then we have a salinity bigger than 15%, and we are talking here about temperatures ranging between 750 to 400 degrees Celsius. 750 degrees Celsius, that is the temperature where such a granite starts to crystallize, depending on the water concentration inside. 400 degrees Celsius, there we are then in the hydrothermal stage, and there we are talking about the catastrophic stage. Here just some information about the depth, here 4 kilometer, 2 kilometer. So now we are going there. There we have now our convective model, and we have the mixture, or we have a very high component of meteoric fluid. So the magmatic component is then only 5%. So because that is all water which comes from the top, from the surface, becomes heated up and then it rises again up. The salinity is also much lower. Boiling is limited, and the temperatures here are typical for the catastrophic and for the mesothermal stage. And as you can see here, the boiling zone, that is here the boiling zone, is here at the beginning much bigger due to the higher temperatures. So, and here we have now a sketch map of the different zones. So we have here in the center, we have a potassic zone. So in the potassic zone, that is actually the high temperature zone. So and if we are talking about the potassic zone, then it is called potassic because there are minerals inside which contain potassium. Otherwise, one must not call them potassic. So and therefore we have the quartz K-feldspar which contains potassium and biotite which also contains potassium. So and then we have sericite, that is a sheet silicate, and then we have anhydride. So and this is now our potassic zone. If one is if one is collecting some water here from these hot springs, and then you can figure out with which zone your water has been in contact. So then we have the phylic zone, that is quartz, sericite, and pyrite. We are sitting then in your pyrite hollow. Here below we have quartz, sericite, chloride, and K-feldspar. If we have chloride, that means there was a lot of water available because chloride has an OH form. Then we have here the prophylitic zone, that is chloride epidote, and some carbonate. Then we have adular and albite, and an adular that is a K-feldspar. So and last but not least, we have here the alkylitic zone or alkylic zone containing quartz, kaolinite, and chloride. And if we have kaolinite, that means the temperature is quite low, maybe 100 to 150 degrees Celsius, because the kaolinite is a mineral. It's also a sheet silicate which contains a lot of aluminium and is formed at very low temperatures. So, and that is somewhere a model from porphyry copper somewhere in the US, because here is this manual fault. Yeah. And here we have then also different, these are different alteration zones formed at different temperatures. So now we have here, in our next picture, we have here the ore shell. So here we have our copper ore shell containing of pyrite, that is only 1%, copper is 1 to 3%, and molybdenum is just 0.03%. So this is then all very, very low. Here inside you have then some low-grade core with a lot of sulfide. We have some chalcopyrite, no copper and pyrite and molybdenum as well. Here below we can then find some magnetite. So in these different zones, we can enrich different elements for different ore minerals. Here, for example, in this outermost shell, we have here also copper, then it's gallinite, and we have here gold and silver. And I have to check. Sphalerite, yeah. So these are all ore minerals. Then in the pyrite halo around, or in the pyrite shell here, we have then of course a much higher concentration of pyrite. It's about 10%. And here we have some magnetite and pyrite. So you can see that the concentration of our ore minerals is quite low. So and then you can compare these ore minerals with your gangue minerals, which you can find there, and then one can calculate actually again the volumina. And then one know how big this ore body is and if it is worth to mine it. So in the later stage we have then the formation of all these veinlets. And we talked actually a lot about of these veinlets in our first chapter. Let us just check what they have written here. Yes, we have then here in C also the occurrence of all these sulfides. So here we have a cross section or just a part. From the hydrothermal alteration from the biggest copper mine on Earth, and that is the one in Chile. So in there you have the different alteration zones. For example, here we have potassic with quartz sericite veinlets. Here we have our porphyritic zone. Here we have sericitic over potassic. Here we have a quartz flooded zone. Here we have potassic and porphyritic. So, and if you can find all these zones before and identify them, then you can also calculate in which zone you will find the highest concentration on copper and which zones are not so interesting. So, and I mean, this is this biggest mine there in Chile, that is this mine which I told you, which is the biggest hole on Earth. And there they are mining at the surface, and that is then much more comfortable as to sit somewhere in the underground. So and here again, one of these very fancy diagrams. Here on the x-axis you have the pH. You can measure this. And here on the y-axis you have how many sulfur is dissolved in the fluid. The whole thing was then calculated in the copper iron sulfur OH system at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. So and these are these diagrams here just for the copper system, which you can calculate, or I can calculate it. And then you are getting still different stability fields, and then you know if you can find there, for example, native copper, yeah, because you are mostly interested in the native copper and not in malachite and azurite, yeah. So, but for you, the thing is, you must not calculate these diagrams, but for example, you can measure the pH, and you can measure the dissolved sulfur. And then you can, if you have the pH, you are just getting a number, yeah? And for the dissolved sulfur, you are getting also a number. And then you can just use a textbook, or you can just use my old documents. For example, if you have a low pH here, and you have maybe here, you have a low pH, then you can see that you can form here native copper, yeah? So and this you can, for example, do by measuring this water from the hot springs. We will take also to our excursion a pH reader. So and then you can just measure this in the field, and we can make the dissolved sulfur. One can also measure directly, and then you can make in the field first estimations if you can find there, or if it is possible to find their native copper, yeah? Because if your pH goes higher and higher, then you do not have longer native copper. And then it is not that interesting. And you can then do again, or use you can also measure your H4 SiO4 concentration and make the logarithm of it. That is just you are using your calculator. And then you can estimate which minerals will be stable there in the underground. Yeah? So and therefore you can just also use these diagrams when you are in the field, measuring this, and then you can first say, is it pyrophyllite which is there, or andalusite? Yeah, if you have andalusite, you know that is aluminosilicate. Then we have sitting in a very aluminium-rich zone. Or if you have diaspore or corundum. And therefore you can then also make first estimation in which zone you are sitting. how rich theoretically your copper deposit can be, or your gold, or your molybdenum, or whatever you are looking for. Yeah? Because you know, all these ore minerals, they are related to certain dung minerals, yeah, and to certain alteration zones. Here they have measured the calcium concentration divided by the hydrogen activity and the logarithm. And here they have measured the potassium concentration divided by the hydrogen and make the logarithm. So, and if you have high potassium concentration, then K-feldspar is stable. At high calcium concentration, then Garnet is stable. And so you can make also estimations about the temperature in your source region. So I got just right now, or just a few days ago, a fund here from USD, about 50,000 Fijian dollar, to do exactly these things. So, and here the same game for magnesium, plotted again potassium. And we have here chloride, biotite, muscovite, and K-feldspar. For you as a ES301 student, you must not understand this in detail, but you should know what's actually the way is to identify such an ore deposit very precisely, without wasting too much money, and without producing a huge dump site. Yeah? Yes, here I have constructed a diagram with sodium inside against potassium, and so you can then show different stability field of all these different minerals, and without taking only one drill core, you can analyze this all from your waters which is coming up from the hot springs. You can analyze which minerals are sitting in which depth. And of course, the next thing what we are always interested in, we have then identified our minerals. So, and then we can plot it against the temperature. The temperature, therefore, mining purposes, the temperature is, it is better if it is not that high, depending in which zone you are sitting. But if we are doing such calculations, for example, because we like to use geothermal power, then we need very high temperature close to the surface. So that is very important, because then we have not to breathe so deep. Here again the same diagram here, just using potassium. Of course, then we are getting the potassium minerals, and here if we are plotting against sodium, then we are getting the sodium-bearing minerals. Yeah. That was the one from before. No, this one here. So if we have the pH, then we can also calculate immediately if your fluid is more acid or if it is more basic. So and then you have here bornite pyrite. Here we use the oxygen fugacity actually. This is a thing which you cannot measure immediately, but you can measure it. Anyway, you are using their different calculations, and if you have more calculations and more plots, then it is even better, because then you can concentrate more on the spot which you like to identify. So here, for example, here they have again just made a pH and the dissolved sulfur species. You can measure this. And for example, you like to have here the native copper, yeah? You don't like here the malachite or the cobalt. So and therefore, you can just use these diagrams from textbooks, and then you can put in your values, and then you get a first idea if it is possible to identify there such an ore deposit or not. And due to alterations, we are forming several stocks of ore bodies. That here is in a very early stage. Then we have here a second ore body. Here you have a third stop, that means then you have different zones of different ore bodies, and here you have then the fourth stop, that is the erosion of the surface. And while you have the formation, or it is a continuing process, then you can form, or you will form, different ore bodies there due to your different hydrothermal stages. So, and on Friday I will then give you the summary of all. We are just going through with the text. And then we are done with the copper class, and then we will do next week the gold class.